All right, DJ, you ready to hop over for a bit and then do radio?
This is gonna be a long bit.
It is gonna be. Don't worry, we're gonna go. I can't. I can't promise
Don't
that.
don't lie to me. Don't lie to my
It's gonna be
face.
a
I'll see you in
long.
2 weeks.
All right, Streams channel. Oh, what a week! What a week! Okay, just gonna tweet about this.
Dang, now I want ice cream.
I have ice cream in the freezer. It's Vietnamese coffee flavor. I should get that. Not yet, though. I have Janet Jackson stuck in my head, and I'm blaming Daryl for it.
It's not even his fault.
He, he said the word edit.
I didn't hear it.
He said it where I could hear it. He knew what he was doing. Anyway, I had some vanilla ice cream tonight with sugar-free chocolate cherry cake. Oh, that, interesting.
Sounds good.
Does sound good. All right, let's do this.
You ready restarted?
I don't need to. This has just been on the blank screen this entire time.
Okay.
CM Punk, CM Punk, CM Punk. All right,
Not my
everybody.
favorite Granblue character.
Oh man, if CM Punk made it to, if there was more wrestlers that made it into Granblue Fantasy, I would be very happy. Like
Look,
have them do
what I learned from the KOF mobile game, anything's possible.
anything is possible. All right, so it is August 20th officially. It's 21st in Japan, which is important for the purposes of this episode because this is the episode that came after the big maintenance DJ.
Yep.
And so, just to get the introductions out of the way, this is Very Very Sheep, the main writer and translator behind the Granblue_en Twitter account, along with friend, some often house guest at this point, first mate and crew member.
Hi, it's DJ. How are you guys doing?
All right, so let's just go straight into it because there's a lot to cover. Where do you want to start, DJ? Like I have an agenda
New
written out, but
characters.
new characters first. All right, new characters, new summon. So I went deep for these because one of them changed the way water was going to work from here on out, and so yeah, we should talk about this.
That character's way too good.
All right, so I've got Shiva and I've got Shalem. Which one do you want to cover first?
Let's go with Shalem. She's the first one I have up right now.
All right,
Also, because we both can talk about this character.
all right. So let's talk about Shalem Summer. So number one, some of my favorite Fate episodes in this game, where she just is like, "This is underwear. Why are you making me wear underwear?" It's like, so you're not gonna wear it? It's like I never said that.
Thanks, Shalem.
All right. So going through, she's special type unknown. She's a spear. She's a defensive spear character. DJ, throw her on the pile.
No, she's not. She's special.
We're gonna keep going. All right. So before we even talk about her chaos impact, we're gonna have to.
You're
We're not gonna
you're
start
you're
from the
ignore
top.
the part that she's also staff.
Yeah, I am.
Yeah.
We'll,
Hey,
we'll
look, the thing that water loves.
we're gonna come back to this in whenever like the Bahamut Assault Buster V2 comes out, uh, because that's when we're going to really see what like they do to Ultimas to try and re-justify staff teams and Ultima staff and such. Um, and so number one, she has a CA. Her CA is really good, but first we scroll all the way down to her second passive, which is Lost Child of Eternal Summer. And so, based on the number of debuffs the opponent has, she has a boost to CA damage, which is
The boost is 9% per debuff, up to 90%
for damage,
for
and then
damage.
the cap is, I'm going to guess, 3%.
3%.
Yep. So it's 90-30 based on number of debuffs?
Correct.
Okay. And then when the foe has 10 or more debuffs, activate charge attack twice.
Yeah, that's the part that I'm like, who? What?
And so here's
What?
the thing. Yeah.
Why? This is so good.
Like she does it twice if there's 10 debuffs on.
Which
And
you're bound to in most raids until they stop like being
oh,
debuffed.
being debuffed and being debuffable. So she also dispels once on CA and she delays once on CA. It's like, okay, that's a lot.
I mean, if it was just delay, that'd been fine.
If it was just dispel, that would also have been fine. It is
Oh,
both.
both? Like, what character do you know of that does this? The answer is none because they don't do them both.
There are characters who can do both of these, and one of them is on the CA. Two of them are in water, in fact. One of them being water's debuff or eternal, and one of them being their zodiac.
But not both.
They don't do both at the same time on the same thing, and they don't do it. Well, Vajra can do it twice, but it's only one of those that she does twice because she dispels on CA, and she slows on her button too, but she only dispels twice if she has either 200
Ah,
meter or.
Roderin's right. Summer Silva does.
Ah, that's right. Summer Silva is quite good at that, but she also
She also
pays her health.
dies.
She pays her health. She doesn't necessarily die. She dips out. There's a difference. Well, actually, she will die if she doesn't dip out.
And also, there's if the boss. Well, she won't die if the boss only single targets.
True. She won't get targeted. And then, so it's our friend, Discover Truth, except that they added on special damage down, and they took away some of the like. Actually, they didn't take away that much, did they? I think they got rid of. Is there anything that's on the Discover Truth list that's not on here?
Can't. What was it?
Let's see the Discover Truth list again. She cannot sleep.
Oh boy, sleep.
And instead of accuracy lowered, which Urius gets, then she has special attack damage lowered, which is the more reliable version of it. But also, yeah, let's just scroll down to here, and hey, look, it's accuracy down.
Oh, how about that?
Which, like, that's one of those things that they brought over from regular Shalem, and it's a very good button. But yeah, Trespass is one of those, like, crazy good effects that they'd been kind of careful with it post Urius. Like Tabina has a version of this, and it's limited by a resource that is not meter.
This one is meter though.
Yeah, Noish has a version of this, and it uses meter, not meter. It uses a resource that he has to get back. Water Leisha has a version of this, and it also consumes a resource that she has to get back. And this one's just like, yeah, meter. And
Meter's easy to get with this character.
yeah, there's a boost to her attack and charge meter.
She gets 30% more meter.
Yeah.
Also, she always double attacks at minimum.
And then so here's so we've got Urius in one package, and we've got both Four and Vajra in a package here. Here's Karma. So it does give you 5 turns of summonless, which can be relevant. It can be relevant.
Can is keywords. It's not actually.
However, you just summon before doing this. You summon anything important before doing this. Like
Also, currently there's a raid in the that we know of named Belial.
that where you just don't summon
You
anyway.
don't summon at all. So it's like it's not a downside.
And then you've got like a 3-turn cut to water ally skill cooldowns. And hey, guess what? Guess who the centerpiece of hard content Earth is?
Sandalphon.
No, he's actually not the centerpiece. Like, he's a really good piece, but really the one that makes it go is Lobelia.
It's Lobelia, yeah.
Because before Sandalphon, you would just use Lobelia with Alex, and it was the same kind of deal.
Yeah.
Like, you still can do it with just Alex, and Granblue just does more damage than Alex. That's kind of the difference there.
The hardest part of Lobelia is remembering every turn to hit a button.
Mm-hmm.
That's it, because that way he gets his stack, so he can do his speed up by 3 turns.
So we have one of Wynn's best hard content characters in one button. We have one of Earth's best content characters in a button. This is admittedly with a drawback. But, I mean, I've been soloing the hard content raids with her, and you just plan around this. Like, on average, now notably, this is before the sub-summon change. So, keep that in mind. This is before we get 2 sub-summon slots. A lot of the time, in the hard stuff, you just have, like, one that's there for being a passive. Like, water is kind of an exception because its HP summon is a heal. But it's like,
Hmm.
if you're in Earth, your HP summon sucks.
What?
If
There's nothing wrong with that summon.
if you're
It does
in
damage.
if you're in Wind, your HP summon sucks.
Nah, that one sucks. Yeah, that really sucks.
If you're in Light, I mean, you're gonna summon it, I guess, in hard content because it'll give you extra hits for breaking omens. Same thing
Yeah,
with
he gets
Dark.
chaser.
But yeah, um, I mean, you can just deal with 5 turns of not using summons really easily.
Yeah.
Especially since she is in an element where you will summon something for the buff. Let's just say you summon Grand Order against a neutral element thing, and then you extend the buff, and so that's 4 out of those 5 turns that you just have the buff anyway, or the triple attack from Varuna or something like that. And then
Thanks, Watre.
yeah, and then on top of having 2 elements best hard content characters,
Hey,
she
it's
has
light.
one of Light's best characters against hard content. She has the GCAG button combined with her own, like, mixed with her own Shalem button.
It's actually just straight up the same button actually.
As GCAG.
Yeah, it's 100% DA down, 100% TA down, 6 turns of accuracy, and can't act.
Yeah, and the
Just
can't
called
act.
suffocated.
Yeah, this combined with her own cooldown cut, like, the only problem I have fighting Beelzebub right now is the timer. I just
Yeah.
have to refresh a lot. That's it. Like, admittedly, I was already able to summon and defeat Beelzebub solo in Earth with very few problems, so this mostly just changes it over to water. I haven't tried doing Belial solo at all, but I do know for a fact that I can now no refresh solo Lucilius with this character.
Well, hey Dom.
Hmm.
At least with this character and the last character they released, the drought's over.
Well, Water had already gotten a ton of summer characters, but yeah, people. You got your wish. This is what happens after people complain about 1,000 days of no Water Grand. Water gets shot up to being the same
Yeah,
level as, like,
yeah, I know, right? It's
as
like
Earth, if you're willing to invest the resources to get her.
actually she's worth it.
I mean, yeah, I have zero regrets about pulling the trigger on this one. The funniest thing for me, DJ, I think you were there for this, where I was just like, how many EMPs do I have on Dark Shalem to bring over? And I went, 738. What did I do?
Meanwhile, I only had 30 because this is the first time I got Shalem.
Hmm.
Also, Shalem's really good in dark. Surprise.
Yeah. She's good in hard content. She's good in easy content. So she was good at both of them. So anyway, yeah, Shalem. Uh, so
The charge attack reactivating is the thing that gets me.
so
Really,
she does have low HP. So
that's 20% less. That's not all. 20% of a billion is still a good chunk of having HP, dude.
so it is noticeable. However, is it detrimental? Not really, because there's a lot of ways to give her defense. Like, right now, the shell of having both Shalem and Poseidon. Because do you remember the numbers on Izmia?
Yes, it's very good.
So you can give her, 5 turns of debuff immunity, and then she has armored, which is a, how much is the armored on it again? It's 20%. And then what I've been doing is I've been using the Chris of Hypnos, which is another armored effect, and so she just starts taking like half damage. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Also, you have two bows, don't you?
Which one? Dark Thrashers?
Dark Thrashers.
I do have two Dark Thrashers. So,
Yeah, that helps
I
you
mean,
a lot too.
yeah, I'll just show you the party that I'm currently using to solo bubs for people.
Hey, you
Hey,
can
look.
also show the new thing too with the.
Oh yeah, we can go. We can segue into that. But it's like, wait, this is my Belial team. Hold on. The
That's you doing damage to him. I remember this
Yes,
stream.
this one has so two Dark Thrashers, Meteora, just a bunch of miscellaneous things. Don't worry about the Amino. Just don't worry about it.
What, you need Trium, right?
Yeah, I definitely need triple attack on this team of Fior, Poseidon, and Shalem. Actually, I
Yeah,
do because I'm a Chaos Ruler. I need everything I can get.
no, Poseidon needs it, right?
Oh,
Anyways,
definitely.
but yeah, so you can actually now with the current update, you can actually see what your grid does,
Hmm.
weapon grid specifically.
Which is good. We'll get into that in more detail, but this is a really good update. And we saw that it still has a lot of bugs in it, but it's they're going in and stamping them out pretty quickly. Um,
Uh,
what's up?
oh yeah, keep going.
So right now, the only thing that is preventing me from soloing every single hard raid in the game with this core here is Sirius, freaking Sirius, from Ultimate Bahamut. So, but the thing is,
Just roll a dice.
no, what I'm going to do is I'm going to swap out Hasalia for Onrey, and that'll fix it. He'll be able to eat both of them, and that's it.
I
Now
mean,
I
you just
can
roll the
solo.
dice. It doesn't matter.
I mean, that's fair too.
I just roll the dice
Hmm. But yeah, so crazy, crazy good character. They actually need to figure out a way now
to balance the
to
game around her.
make fights that are difficult enough to challenge her. Ultimate Bahamut has a few things that can challenge her, so they'll have to dig into their bag of tricks real deep because Belial and Beelzebub do not challenge her enough yet.
Make it so that delay never works.
Um, make them act through subjugate, which I think
They won't do that.
I think Ultimate Bahamut can because it can,
Mm,
or maybe not.
Subjugate overtakes everything.
Yeah, okay. Or make it miss sometimes. That's the
That,
part
that
that gets me. Every 8 turns, I
yeah.
can just make them take no turn. Like, and because she's slowing so often, a lot of the times this just sits there unused because it doesn't need to be used. It's like there is too much defense going on in this.
Yeah, I don't know why they gave her subjugate really. Like CAG makes sense because she can't speed up her time unless you're using a certain one character that only does it once ever.
Shitori,
What was that?
Shitori.
Yeah, Shitori.
Yeah, I love Shitori. By the way, I'm glad that the Anima raid is giving her a lot of new use for me. I'm glad when they. I mean, that's the thing that I like about their encounter design is that they'll be willing to change things up, and that makes you reevaluate certain characters. And so, in Anima specifically, because cooldowns are longer and meter gain is higher, then you have certain characters uh, go back up in value. Like Shitori has a lot of value just because she can use all of that meter and she can reset someone else's cooldowns. And there's a lot of characters like that, or like Yukata Rosamiya, stuff like that. And so, I mean, what can they do to Shalem to make you play her differently? I mean, making her cooldowns longer doesn't really change her that much because she got a 0 right here. Like she still does her job with even without having Karma and Harlequin.
Yeah, I would just say can't act can miss.
Hmm.
But they have to change both to CAG and Hillel. But they're the only two characters that have this,
Hmm.
so I'm okay with them changing that.
Yeah.
Maybe people won't, but you can't please everybody.
Yeah. But anyway, so um, as a water player, I am not going to uh, like apologize for this, but yeah, we'll see what V2 does. V2 Buster Bahamut.
Whatever his name is, the
Yeah,
third.
sure. All right, are we ready to go back to Shiva?
Actually, I want to talk about her weapon. Actually,
Okay, so let's go to her weapon.
'cause this
Uh,
is a first.
so no, it's weapons. Search. It's a water dagger. Dagger. There it is. The Zodiaco Vitae. So, water dagger. What does Sunderland do? The charge attack.
Uh, 35% DA, 35% TA, and at 4-star, also 10% chaser.
That's okay. So it's Parazonium.
Correct. Well, 5% is moved somewhere else from Parazonium.
Hmm.
I think like Parazonium is like 15% chaser, and then 30% DATA.
Okay.
The second thing is that it has medium Fandango,
Which is the
but then it
highest Fandango value we have yet, isn't it? I don't think there's anything with large Fandango. But anyway, sorry. It has some triple attack on it already.
yeah, and the next thing is that it has Claude Flood, which is an
Which,
EX modifier.
so it is the Shev sword of grand weapons. It has two different multipliers on it.
Correct. That's new.
That is new.
Thank you,
This,
Wiki, for noting that too. Trivia: this is the first premium weapon to have an EX modifier skill.
all of their strengths, none of their weaknesses.
Is slightly worse than Parazonium if you only looked at the weapon in a vacuum,
Hmm.
because I think with double summon, it's around 60%, while Parazonium is like 69% or something. I don't know.
So the
I
main
did the math one day, and then
yeah
I just stopped caring the next day.
the main thing about this is that because of its skills, it'll be nice to have one of, but it's totally not necessary to like bar it immediately
Correct.
because um, in terms of dagger main hands, water has the Chris of Hypnos, which I've been talking about, where it's like armored and uplift on CA, and so it has good defense and decent offense on it, and multi attack for a lot of the good water characters these days is not a problem. Adding Chaser is nice though. But you know what? You can get Chaser from?
What can you chaser from?
You can get Chaser from this handy dandy level
Noble,
110 uh Eternal or a little more
Fateless,
accessible Fateless,
which
which is
is
a sword.
a lot of sword classes in the game.
Mhm. Is this Fateless or is this Gottfried? Let's see if I no, this is Fateless. Haha! I almost missed. I always do that. I almost click on Gottfried when I mean to click on Fateless.
God, rate only goes up to level 15, man.
All right. So anyway, so that's that.
Not bad.
Yeah, that's Shalem. Pretty interesting things that they did, and like I said, we need to figure out a way to work out this power stuff because wow. All right, ready to move on to our friend
My
Shiva,
favorite rapper.
Bath Shiva. All right, so I have. Oh,
That
go
second
ahead.
art's really strong.
Yeah, let's change it to double cheeked up Shiva.
I think someone made it in the Sky Compass where they had Shiva, and then there was Jin under the waterfall too.
Jin under the waterfall is a blessing in Sky Compass. I love that one. I have it with Joy being the waterfall on him.
It's so good.
All right, so Shiva. I actually haven't used this character yet. I know he's really good. I just haven't played that much Light since the release of the character. So let's start at the very beginning. So again, Spear Staff, just like Shalem. Uh, he's an attacker, just like the previous Shiva. So we're gonna expect a few things out of him, right? We're gonna want an uncap and triple attacks. So his CA is actually it gives him assassin.
Yeah, that's cool. However, you can't build meter normally.
Hmm So,
Hey, look, we had a character like this not too long ago.
hmm yeah, because the thing is that the previous design of Shiva was that his first CA gave him access to his second CA. He got a like little minor assassin. It was like very small for his next attack, but it gave him a second stronger CA afterward, which was like twice the
We can
cap.
inner eye to Mahakala.
hmm So now he trades it out. He's simpler. He just has a 100% assassin for next time, for his next attack. Pretty good.
All right, all right.
Self-busting assassin unit. All right. Then here's his nuke. 20 hit light, light damage to go with the if you have the Nehan weapon and you're building like that. But this does have a 10 turn cooldown, so it's not like this
From
gets affected
12.
very much. It dispels, and then it boosts rays that light the sky, which is his first passive. So how does this one work? Do you have
All
that in
right.
front of you?
So Raise the Light the Sky is it amplifies light allies' damage against dark foes by 20%.
Which is
However,
okay.
when Sri Rudram is up for the 5 turns that is up, it is now 30% instead.
So he has an improved version of like the Tiamat and Yggdrasil etc. passive, where it's like you can replace your seraphic weapon when he's in the party, and instead of losing 3% in exchange for that grid slot,
For 5 turns, you'll get plus 7%.
hmm and then the other
Comparatively.
5 you'll get -3. That's
Which
really
is not
good.
bad, actually.
Yeah, I like that trade-off. I think it's interesting.
Also, that it does 20 hits of 70k, and then, supplemental damage,
Yeah.
all that good stuff.
All right. Next up, you get your old friend Vale, and then Sacred Fire. His second passive gets boosted for 5 out of 10 turns, which is
All right.
all
He
right. Go
heals
ahead.
for 500. Everybody heals for 500, but when he has that, it's now 1,000. He does not have any other boosts to this healing.
Light has the best collection of healers in the game, so
Yeah,
it's an attacker who will passively heal your team, kind of like Lucio. It's just he does a little bit more than Lucio in terms of healing. He actually does a lot more than Lucio in terms of healing. And then yeah, so um, strangely, his ability 3 does not actually interact with his passive 3, and well, it interacts with it, but it doesn't buff it directly. So skill 3, uh,
instant CA.
instant CA, which is, you know, he sets himself up for an assassin the next turn, which can be amplified by 30% with this Sri Rudram. So, Um, and then, on turn 10 and onwards, he gets CA reactivate.
The timing on this is really weird to me, to be honest.
Why is that?
It's a 6-turn cooldown. Everything else is 10 turns.
Mm-hmm.
So nothing actually really lines up correctly.
Mm-hmm.
Well, actually, no, they'll line up. But
They'll
it's just not like 1-1-2. It's
It,
1
it,
dot 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 2.
it drifts over time, is what you're
Yeah,
saying.
it's just weird. Yeah.
Okay. But, I mean, because this is a buff that lasts 5 turns, it's not like they desync to the point where if you're doing both of these off of cooldown, that when it'll take like 4 cycles for this to happen when you don't have the Sri Rudram effect.
Yeah.
But yeah, so he gains no bar upon normal attacks, the Narmea thing. He has a passive 20% amp,
Correct. On normal attacks.
guaranteed TA, and his buffs cannot be removed. So they're adding that more and more to characters. It's not just an earth mechanic anymore. So this character is very simple, extremely strong,
Super strong.
super strong. Okay.
I don't know. Now I have to say the thing I say about Earth now, where like I have too many busy slots because if I want like if I have Valentine's Aglavale, I use him if I want to do the supplemental damage stuff.
Yeah. You use like
Like this character just hold forward.
Mm-hmm.
The veils, it's a veil.
Right. So right now, I think this is one of the strongest characters to put in the not Nehan, not Grandjean slot if you're doing like short-term swinging.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll see what
Unlike the
happens.
previous character we talked about, he will not let you live.
Oh no. Well, he heals you for 1,000 a turn,
Oh
and
boy,
he gets
1,000.
he cancels out one set of debuffs, which is not insignificant.
Yeah, that one's fine, but it's just like Dom, you know how before when you're using Fior
Mhm.
and Lucy.
Mhm.
So how long is Fior's remove buff?
Remove buff? What do you mean? His
His
dispel?
dispel?
His
Yeah.
dispel is like a 9-turn cooldown.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, you're not bringing this character to that either.
Yeah.
Unless you guys are just gonna kill it really fast.
That's fair enough. Yeah. I don't have Halmal or Zal Halmalina, so Shiva's who I'm using with Nihan and John Burst. Yeah, pretty much. He goes into a damage slot, and if you don't have a damage slot, then you take him out.
Yeah.
So pretty simple to evaluate him.
His weapon does not have a 4-star yet, and all it has currently is Sentence, which doesn't
His
his
bow
grand
has it as
version
well.
also.
Yep.
Yeah.
All
So
right.
who knows? Keep that safe.
Last thing to talk about, new releases. I did get one of these. Mandrake.
She's so cute.
There's so many Easter eggs in her art.
All there are summons, you
Yeah.
mean?
All right. So importantly, she has a sub aura. So she's now fighting in the incredibly crowded Earth like brawl in order to get one of the 6 slots. Because sub aura she has dispel cancel, and then at 4 stars she has 3 and 4 stars she gives you 3 turns of strength.
So I'll mention this later, but the dispel cancel will actually mean nothing later
Why is that?
because the character we're going to talk about way down the line.
I see. Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, I know what you were talking about now.
Yeah.
Okay, so um, the strength and the dispel cancels, like strength basically gives her a pretty strong buff if you're doing like just 3 turn things with Luchador or whatever. You know, Luchador Thrail stuff, and yeah, like
Good. It's good for the first 3 turns.
it's good for the first 3 turns. All right, I don't think there's much to talk about beyond that, where it's like it's really straightforward. And then on call, it does the following things: poison, putrefy, 2 turns of sleep,
Oh boy, 2
blind,
turns of sleep.
yeah, blind, 10% debuff resist down, 10% attack down, and so it's a 6 turn cooldown, essentially Mega Satyr. Or, like, yeah,
That
pretty much,
Satyrs not bad. Yeah.
yeah.
I thought Satyr was the opposite, where you buff your
You
characters.
buff your own. You also, I think, do
Attack.
the mist stuff.
Yeah.
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 Let me go look at the summon again. Yeah, she also has stackable defense, attack defense down, but you trade out the buffs from Satyr for debuffs with Mandrake.
Okay.
Anyway, sorry, when I was
You
rolling, I got another
are home.
Tsuchinoko. That's 7. I have 7 Tsuchinokos. Why is this? You
It
should
ain't no
go home.
snake.
All right.
He is
So
home.
similar call to Sariel Holiday. Yeah, that's a good comparison as well. I don't remember if I own Holiday Sariel yet. I'm just gonna curiously look. SSR Dark.
Yeah. It's difference is I see there's no burn.
Oh, I do have Santa Sariel. Well, there you go. Anyway, so that's it for the characters. Um, what's next on the agenda? Did you want to talk about the costs, or did you want to talk about grid stuff first?
Wait, which one's the costs?
Uh, the cost of Transcendence.
Let's talk about the grid stuff first.
Okay, so when we got the new grid, we were promised this a while ago, and they were hoping to get it done by July, and they didn't get it done by July because of bugs, and we still have bugs.
That's normal though in like any
Yeah,
tech
these are
thing.
mostly display bugs. It was like, but it is important when the display bug involves a calculator telling you a number that is not true. So they've been stamping those bugs out for the last day. Um, so weapon skill changes. So number one, they've done a lot of like little minor changes. We talked about the changes to superlatives. We talked about a lot of these things that basically existed to make the calculator simpler because Jesus, there are a lot of things that the calculator is trying to do all at once. Um, but here's the important stuff. Consolidation of stat boost caps by group and cap adjustments. So the caps for stat boost of the same name have been consolidated, so all sentences are the same now. It changes what summon boosts them.
Hmm.
Um, crit is unified, so all crit adds up to a single chance to crit for 50% more damage. And then the caps for certain things have gone up for most things. So the skill damage cap is 100%. The CA damage cap is now 75%. Because I believe the CA damage cap before was 60, or was it 60 per source and 60 per? Anyway.
It was a like if you don't count like the separate damage caps and stuff like that,
Hmm.
it was 60%.
I see. Okay, so this is higher now. You can go higher. And so this changes actually a decent amount of things that people were doing. So, for example,
Oh, yeah,
um,
Rodin's right.
it was 30 Magna, 30 Primal, 15 Excelsior. So technically 75. Okay, but it was like incredibly complicated to get there.
It was
Uh,
really also really annoying to try to figure out what actually worked together.
I agree. And so now we have something like, let's take a look at one of my old CA grids. So it's like we have a Europa Harp here, we have a Blue Sphere here. Let's take a look at what happens with my weapon skill boosts. So my CA damage cap is 36.5% with this thing. I can totally get higher on this if I want to. Or I can, go over to this Columba grid right here. Take a look at this
The
one.
one that where you're smashing your cap.
No, I'm just doing CA supplemental over
Oh
here.
yeah, that's important too. Yeah.
It's actually CA cap is only 35 on this one, but still, the point is that you can see the numbers way better than before. That's very important, and yeah, certain things are coming out, and old design decisions are like being re-scrutinized because one of the top GBF YouTubers, Tosayuki, who is a very dedicated water player, by the way. So mad respect to Tosayuki. You are the reason that these grids exist. So thank you. Um, so like they put out a video, or not a video. They just said R.I.P. So there was a picture of 3 blue spheres with Columba. CA supplemental 800k. Let's go. Anyway, and then there was one of 3 harps of what is it? Tyros Zithers technically is the full name, the Europa harp. And 3 blue spheres does not hit the CA damage cap or CA
Correct.
cap.
Little known fact is that Omega. So they're both of these are medium modifiers. Omega modifier goes to 9.5% at skill level 15, while normal only goes to 5%.
I don't know why this is, but it
I
means
don't
for
know either.
specifically CA things, the Europa harp is better than blue sphere.
You're correct. Yeah. I
But I
don't know
mean,
why.
but yeah, there's a lot of things that got better with this though. Like we were talking already about Water Magna. Water Magna got a huge boost with this because it can play the Whamdis Spear with other crit.
Yeah, that's
It's,
really good for Magna.
it is really good. Water Magna also got really good, a lot better because you could just use 3 harps, and those 3
It's
harps get you to the
sick.
max. Does
Does
this
this
help
help explaining grids
grids?
to younger players?
Yes.
It's yes, because it's more visual of understanding where the numbers are going.
Not only where the
It's
numbers are going, but also what the max is. Because once this thing hits orange, then it's like you have maxed out on this. Go, you're getting it somewhere else.
also a nice thing is the HP adjuster too.
Yeah. The HP adjuster's always been there. Boop
But you now understand why your
boop.
numbers are going down or where they're going.
Hey, look, my stamina went down to 15%, but my enmity went up to 25. Yay! Boop.
It's really nice. I really like this a
Yeah,
lot.
I like this change a lot, and all of the bugs with it are visual now. So they got rid of all of the things that broke the calculator, aka all the really weird weapon skills, and putting Ronco as your support summon or main summon apparently.
Yeah, things I learned is that Mysteries of Mysteria was 15% boost to staff allies charge attack.
Sure.
Things I learned. These weird weapons.
hmm But yeah, so this was an unequivocally good change, especially once they get the bugs out of the way. Like they spent a month smashing bugs and squashing those. Oh hey, you can turn on Arcarum. I didn't realize that. Oh jeez. All right. Anyway. All right. So, turning on Arcarum is for the Saphira weapons. That's right.
Correct.
Okay.
Because they also have their own crit stuff and stuff like that.
So yeah, hopefully this is one of those things where you can just point at it and say, "This is what I have, and this is what the skills are," so you can just see what's going on here. It's like
We don't have to
very
do
good
weird
change.
math in order to figure out Fandango. Yeah,
hmm
just put it in the solo grid.
So is this how? So this is how Hellas gets fixed? Maybe. All right. So next up, we're gonna get into the hard stuff.
I didn't want to look at this, but yeah, let's talk about it.
All right. So the Eternal Transcendence was the other thing promised to us in this patch. We have it now. Let's talk about the cost first. So, where are you? Here, I'm just gonna filter by Eternals. All right. So here's one of my two level 130 Eternals. It's number 4. So now I want to uncap him. So level 140 is actually mildly reasonable compared to what we were thinking about. So it's Keelan Anima if you are water, earth, or dark, and Huanglong Anima if you are fire, wind, or light. So those elemental
Respective
pairs.
stuff.
Yep.
Yeah.
This is one of those things where you'll either have to join a bunch of them, or you can be like us. And I've been complaining on this show for years that I have nothing to do with all of these Keelan and Huanglong hosts. So
Yeah.
that's a
I also,
monkey
I
paw
also have this
closing.
too.
That's a monkey paw closing right there. Because I still have 42 more hosts of Huanglong and Keelan to get through, so I'll be hosting one a day for the next month and a half, and it's gonna go
The
out
the
to
host
crew.
host chest is always a guaranteed gold one, right?
There is one thing that is not a gold Huanglong or Keelan anima in there, DJ.
Oh yeah, gold
There's
bar.
a gold brick, and
The
it's
one
me.
I don't want technically.
It's me. I'm the one who has complained, going, "I needed the gold anima. I didn't need this gold brick." I will 100% own up to that one. I've been the guy. I remember posting that picture on our Discord going, "Man, I know I shouldn't complain, but man."
Anyways, so you also need 30 of
The luster.
a luster,
So if you're dark, it's water and earth, and if you're light, it's fire and wind.
and that's like
So
15 each,
So this
right?
is your Replicard diligence check. So I was diligent on Replicard for a few months, and so I'm good on this. I personally am good on this. 2,000 quartz, which
That one's actually kind of reasonable.
uh, once again it's a diligence check, but also they've been giving us a ton of free quartz by giving us rolls. So yeah,
Yeah, just break those.
break them. Three,
SRs only. You never
yeah,
know what happens with SSRs.
300 dragon jewels, not the unique drop, jewels.
That's the best part, as the jewels, because the jewels are the easy one to get.
The jewels are definitely the easy one to get and do not require the solo version of the fight. You just join raids and hit them. So for the past like 36 some hours, those dragons have been pretty full, and so it's nice. They
Yeah.
clear. They did it. They made people go back. It is a little sad that people who traded for the earrings go, I want those 90 jewels back. Oh well, I guess it's time to join about 40, and on average about like 30 to 40 whamdises. So I'm still
Yeah,
in the
they
process of
drop like
joining this.
they drop like candy.
hmm And then 50 Lindworm scales. Okay, back to Lindworm. Sure, this is pretty reasonable. Like this is downright reasonable. This is the problem I have with it. In exchange for it being reasonable, it is also the least exciting one.
So I said this in our chat one time.
hmm
That I feel like from they should have switched the EMP skills from stage 3 and stage 4.
Because yeah, here's stage 4. Stage 4 is boost to cap, and it's not like this is a 10% boost to cap. This next one is 5%, isn't it?
Up to 5%, yeah.
Yeah, so this is the least exciting on cap. Like this is the number one reason to be disappointed if you're powering things up, because like in exchange for it being the least like grinding rare materials step, although if you don't have like months and months of just diligently buying out every seal, yeah. Oop. Thank you for the follow, Sailor Mooncal. Anyway, like if you haven't been diligently doing your Huanglong and Keelan like prouds and stuff like that, then you're going to have to join trains in order to get all that anima. And then, even then, like think about it this way, that uh, if in order to transcend all 10, then you're going to need 150 of these. And I, who am very diligent about doing these things, is at 40. And it's like, so this is a really long time investment, which you probably should.
That should be the case in the first place.
Yeah, you should expect that.
You also can't make all of them immediately, anyways.
Yeah. So that's my complaint, is that I think that if they had swapped 3 and 4, then it would be less I don't know, less jarring at how little that you gain from going from 130 to 140. And then, so let's talk about the second one.
The Glorious Eminence.
Treasure.
You can buy 10 in the shop because there's only 10 you ever need ever.
So Glorious Eminence, and so this is the thing that I was calling this for the entire time, by the way. So I'm glad that they actually went with this, because this was my hope for once again a play the game check. So we need 30 Bluecilius eggs. All right, clear Bluesy, got it. And 30 is actually a pretty reasonable number, because in your own host you're gonna get like 4. So
yeah, you get a lot. They want you to do these raids.
Yeah. And then if you do so let's just say that you get like 4 on your own host if you do Ascendant Prayer, right? 3 or 4 is about a good number. Then you'll be doing the Ascendant Prayer about like 8 times, 9 times in order to get this. And so that's a lot of halos, admittedly, a lot of halos and urns, but if you can do this solo if you need to. It's like, okay. Then there's the Beelzebub wings. That one's that one's a bit harder. But
yeah, you really have to wrap your head around how the fight works, though, and then it's easier.
Yeah. Or I keep I keep joking with people about this. You just ask someone you know who can solo it, because the fight is eminently soloable right now, because it was their first like high difficulty V2 design. And so you pack enough delays and V2 omen breaks, then yeah, we'll talk about that.
Next thing is the 30 Cunning Devil's Horn from Belial.
Belial's a fun fight. I am glad to keep doing this. So
yeah. I need to get around to doing that fight myself.
Mm-hmm.
But I've been just so busy with work and stuff.
Right. And then the last one, this is what we're going to talk about the most. The Lapis Merit is back.
That I kind of expected, to be honest.
I kind of expected it, but you know how the complaint I've had about Unite and Fight is that more and more stuff gets locked behind Unite and Fight, and they don't run it often enough, and I don't want them to run it that often. Yeah, this is sort of the culmination of all of my complaints about that, where If this had been a gold brick, people would have complained and then gone farming for a gold brick. I'm personally pretty glad it's not a gold brick. I'm good using 3 on these characters as it is.
True.
But having the Lapis Merit required, and having the Lapis Merit only be available through Valor badges at the moment, well, only is a misnomer, because if we go all the way back to this news thing here, and we redeem some codes, where are those serial code redemptions? There it is.
You're talking about the one from the recent stream.
Yeah. Yeah. So people are complaining about this one being like pay to progress, and even though we're getting another Lapis Merit in the shop in 2 weeks, 3 weeks now. Sorry, 3 weeks.
I'm about to say I'm not going to your place while there's a United fight.
Yeah, that would be yeah. Then yeah, this one is a pretty legit complaint as well.
Yeah, I can see that.
Because the thing is, all right, so previous like paid rewards, right? Let's just go over to GB Versus. Is that under others or is it? I forget what the GB Versus one is now. Oh, it's up here. So let's take a look at the GB Versus purchase bonus. I got an Evilite. Evilites, there are some in the Arcarum shop.
There's only 3.
Yeah, thank you for the sub, Waffle Job. But like, yeah, at least there is an alternate way to get these. Dama crystals, there is an alternate way to get these. You can gather grains over time. Sunlight stones are
There's actually no other ways to get
There's
these.
actually no other way to get these right now. But this one also is in the Arcarum shop. They just restock it very rarely. I think it's like 2 in the shop total for
over the
Arcarum.
past 3 years.
Yeah. And then
Yeah.
gold bricks you can actually just farm for. And so each of these, you know, it's not something that the only way to get them is to get an extra one is through the code. Like each of these, there are ways to get more. Right?
Other than United Fight, is what I was saying.
And now it's just Unite and Fight for this Lapis Merit. I'm pretty sad about that. I hope that there are alternate ways to get 1 or 2, but I'm not sure how they would implement that. I'm not sure how they would do it.
They can't do it in Arcarum because it makes no sense.
Right.
Because they have no relation. Unfortunately, United Fight makes sense because there's that relation. I wish they would actually include it more, like put one every time there's also a Dread Barrage, even though, Dread Barrage is also not as often either.
Yeah, I want them to be less shackled to Unite and Fight, which is something that I say every Unite and Fight. So, yeah, because we're gonna need 20 of these now. If we're trying to go for bingo, and there's a reward for bingo, so yeah.
And currently there's only 3 total.
Mhm.
That's with the code.
That's if you spent money on the Extra Fest booklet, which I personally didn't. I don't know if you did.
I did because I like the booklets.
Yeah, I also like the booklets. They're full of cool art. Like Ryan, our friend, took a picture of his, and it's cool. I would have bought it anyway. However, having one be locked behind this it's a long-term time gate, which is what they were hoping for. It just feels bad that there is only one way around the time gate right now, and that is buying merchandise from. Yeah. Anyway. All right.
Let's talk about the characters.
Let's go to the characters then. Do you want to do the new ones first, or do you want to go in numerical order?
Let's just go in numerical order. That makes things easier for later on.
All right. We're starting with the number 1.
I'll also bring up a point about the 150 later anyways.
Okay, so we're going to do a quick review of what's going on with these characters because remember that we gave them incompletes earlier. So, Henri, number 1. He, at 110, he gives Drain to your team. We called that one an incomplete the first time because we're just like, we don't know where this is going. Like, he keeps your team alive longer, sure, but, and then... So, okay. So there's that. Then... he gets Arm the Bastion, gives 100% fire cut and fire switch. The fire switch is the new one.
At 130.
at 130. That's the next upgrade to his skills. The one that he gets at 120 is that the cover? Is that the substitute?
Nope. It's the cap incoming fire damage.
Okay. Yeah, that one doesn't really make that much sense for him until you get to 130 also.
Yeah. The one you're thinking of, Dom, is his EMP
130?
skill.
Yeah, his
Which
130
is also
EMP.
130.
And as far as we know, at 3 stars, he will always cover for the lowest HP character in your party.
The ultimate defense boy.
hmm He's a
And
Final Fantasy paladin.
yeah. And so at 150, so for 150, everybody's 150 affects their 120 passive.
hmm
This one he counters twice upon taking damage. Well, up to 2 times upon
turn.
taking damage.
And that's really good, by the way, because remember that if you spec into it, he will always sub for any single target attack as long as somebody else has lower hit points than him. And so that is cool. Is it worth
his 130 skill makes sense now.
Yeah. Is it worth the entire thing? That's up to you. Like I said,
I'll actually say this for most of these, by the way, is that up to 130 is like where like a bunch of these are like peak.
Yeah. So this it ups his damage output a lot, but it also, just is cool. He just hops in the way of a bunch of attacks and hits back every turn twice. That's cool. I like that. He will very likely be my third to 150.
Nice.
Yeah, even though I talked so much about, how good that Shalem and Poseidon and stuff like that are in difficult content, having 2 turns of damage immunity basically, that's sick. The fire cut lasts what, 2 turns? No, it's 1 turn.
1 turn.
No, the fire cut is 1 turn. The fire switch is 3 turns, and he will cap the damage coming in.
Capping the damage.
Yeah, and he jumps in the way of a bunch of things. He is taking very little damage when he doesn't want to take damage.
Yeah.
And so there is still a spot for that. And remember that even if he would die, his damage that he takes stops at 1, and then he heals back up to full and is no longer debuffed, so he gets another shot. And so this is
I lived.
As a full kit, I really enjoy this. But now that we see the full picture. You ready to move on to 2?
Once again, we're also going to talk about how 130 EMPs make no sense until you see 150.
All right. So, to review, she had one of the best 110s already.
Oh, yeah.
Where she resets Clincher and it casts twice. That was just easily 6 to 7 million damage every time she CAs. It's okay.
7 million, yeah.
It's okay. Sure.
They resist paralyzed. That's okay. I'm doing this for damage.
Yeah. All right. Her 120 was the
boosted dodge rate upon based on number of debuffs.
Are there tested numbers on that yet, or no?
You would have to check game with or something because it's not on the wiki.
Yeah, don't worry about it. It's just dodge, and we're like, what is all this dodge doing? Right? She has a button that dodges. Why does she need more dodge? Now we'll see. We see the whole picture now. 130.
Right, first 130.
Yeah, 130 was the upgrade to depravity.
Nope. It's an upgrade to clincher.
Was the upgrade to clincher? Whoops, my bad. I keep doing that. Clincher.
When you spend Bring the Thunder from her CA, you inflict Pinpoint Prey, which is a local defense down, and boosted damage taken to the boss.
Which is 10k per hit.
Yeah, people like that.
Yeah.
People like supplemental damage.
Right. Light has a bunch of those effects, but it's on a character that you might already be using. So that's cool. All right. On to 140. Haha, just kidding. 150. So.
How do you like Tanya?
Oh, I freaking love Tanya.
How do you like Tanya and Light instead?
I don't know how I feel about that one, DJ. I don't play Light as much as I play Dark.
But I love Light.
You love Light. It's true. I love Tanya. You love Light. Between us, we love this. So, the amount of damage.
Ham grasping each other.
Yeah. So, all right. So, does it slow on her dodge or no?
It slows on the dodge.
It does slow on the dodge. It is 2 hits?
2 hit damage on top of her EMP skill. So here's the thing. She already had this EMP skill a long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
She would do a 270 nuke if she dodges.
Yeah. So now she does 2 nukes on dodge, one from her EMP support and then one from the Transcendence.
The Transcendence is a 2-hit one,
Oh, okay. So it does 3 hits now then?
I guess. I don't know.
I'm not sure. I'm not
I don't
sure
have
if
this character yet.
yeah, that's true. But yeah, the damage on dodge is actually really significant too. It's like the videos I saw of it were it's AoE and it's 1,000,000 per hit, and so you just do like against 3 targets, for example. It's just casual 6,000,000 that you inflict upon dodging.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So let's go, Tanya. I'm glad that you get your own Tanya DJ
Yeah.
eventually
So
as a
once
to
again,
prove
this went
haters.
back to the her 120 effect didn't make sense until 150
Hmm.
because there was no reason to ever have more dodge.
All right. So we're moving on to Threo then.
Ooh,
Her
this
one
girl.
her 110 is the worst of all of them in many cases because we're just like it doesn't fix any problems. It just does the same thing but with one extra hit basically. Um well,
Huh? About that. Anyways,
the 130 though was like the prize of prizes among the Transcendences so
well,
far.
let's
The
start,
130.
let's progress.
Okay, so
So
120.
yeah, guaranteed TA and 30% chaser when she's below 25% health.
Right.
That's a lot of
Then
damage.
and she's always getting that on ground zero, and then 130 when you hit ground zero a second time, and that time you're in red health, then she gets triple strike. So that triple
On
strike
someone who's guaranteed to triple attack.
and is giving herself 30% bonus damage. So you essentially you're quad striking 3 times, so it's essentially 12 hits worth of damage when she hits ground zero while at low health.
Yeah, and this is the part that's nice is that because it's on ground zero, she doesn't care what form she's in.
Hmm.
She could just do it.
Yeah, the interesting thing is that her upgrades don't touch the forms at all. They're just like, yeah, we're just leaving these alone.
Yeah,
All right,
trying to keep track of what form she's in is really annoying.
yeah.
So
So 150, once it changes her 120 passive again. So when she's in the red, she's immune to debuffs, and the water damage that she takes is capped at 3,333 per hit.
it's
In
pretty nice.
addition, on a character who already has 3 stacks of Undying, this character is nigh unkillable until she has died for the 4th time, and it requires them to hit her a bunch of times if it's water damage. And there are abundant ways to convert incoming damage
It's do
to
water
water.
damage. Oh yeah, we forgot about her EMP skill at 130.
Oh, the other one, that's right.
Berserk
So,
Forge is off cooldown if she CAs.
yeah, which means if she's in sword form, woohoo! Party time.
Yeah,
Another
that's the
triple
party time
attack.
button.
Yeah,
With Chaser.
yeah. This character got what she deserved. Like people were hoping for something like this, and she just slams it in. She
She
just
hit
wants to
hard.
she just wants to dunk, and she refuses to die until she has dunked a sufficient number of times.
Look, she's too dumb to die.
Hmm. Yeah, I do understand like the way that you tell which form she's in when she's at low health and she's crouching on the ground and her weapon isn't up is you read which of her CAs that she has up, and it's just like, oh, jeez, that's a memorization chest.
I never can't keep track of that either. So,
Yeah, it's like
oh yeah.
all right.
So her 150, yeah, she can actually amplify her EMP skill. Amplifies 10% of her damage at
Mhm.
normal attack damage. So let's add more big numbers.
Yeah. All right. Ready to move on to 4, my boy, my first Screamio rune son.
Yeah, let's do it.
All
This
right.
is your boy.
So, bonus water damage. It was the 110. It's a 10%. We found out, by the way, today because we decided to test it that this overwrites the Fateless 15%. So you, for some reason,
It's weird.
he lowers your CA chaser by 5% if he does this. So the solution is just don't use Fateless as a main hand. So I
Oh, that's
mean,
pretty easy actually to
yeah,
do.
yeah. But the other solution is to report this to Cygames, which I'll do, and then tell them that this is behaving in an improper way, because this has actually happened a couple times before, where things that aren't supposed to overwrite each other do, and they fix it eventually.
Yeah,
Eventually.
normally the typical thing is bigger number is the one that stays.
All right. So that one was just like, all right, he makes the entire team buffed stronger. That's fine. His 120 is one of my favorites in the game. Um, so hold on, let's go into here.
Poignant edge.
No, his 120 is debuff success. So I have 3 nodes of debuff success on this.
Oh, for his
Yeah,
EMP.
his
Amazing.
130 was
No,
reduced damage strict
120 was a support skill.
Oh yeah, the support skill, which is
The
also
one that
one that
matters.
it's one that actually matters. Poignant edge. So whenever he takes damage, which is going to be a constant in hard content, it lowers his skill damage cooldowns. And one of the worst things about this character is having a really long cooldown on Carnage that you have to rely on RNG or his ultimate to lower, because that's his dispel. And so it's one of the longest dispel cooldowns in the game on a character you commonly bring to stuff.
Okay, I was about to say Shiva exists now.
Yeah. And so now um, that cooldown gets cut down significantly. And Gamadian Cross, I hit that thing all the time. It's so good. I love this thing.
Yeah, you effectively in hard content you lowered everything by half.
hmm All right. So now we get to 150. So 150
Wait,
changes
you forgot
poignant
130.
edge. Oh wait, 130. Sorry, 130. Reduce damage taken from
Averity,
foes with forfeit.
but also Averity.
And then, yeah, the list of buffs from Averity. I love this thing. It's so good. All of these are welcome buffs. I use all
I
of
don't,
these all the time.
I don't have numbers on these, but they're nice.
I don't care about the shield is pretty small. It's like 2k, I want to say.
Hey, that's 2k less damage you're taking.
Yeah, exactly. Like anyway, I press this button all the time. It is an incredibly satisfying button. I just want to press this all the time. In fact, I want to press this so often that I do actually have True just to copy the button. All right?
Amazing.
Uh so
Yeah,
anyway.
it's pretty good. Yeah.
All right. So we skip 140 and then 150 is this is I don't know. This is the one that I'm a little like kind of
Okay.
meh about.
So for about a third, or actually only a third of these characters, I would say that you would want to bring to 150 immediately.
Mhm.
The rest of them are just win more buttons, or just do something a little bit, but not a
Mhm.
lot
Because
for
now it's
150.
along with cutting damage cooldowns on taking damage, he also does a 4-hit nuke. And it's like, okay.
To be fair, water does have good supplemental damage
It does.
support.
It does.
So four hits every turn that you're doing hits in hard content. It's really nice.
It is strong. It is not exciting. So there's a difference, right? Like cutting your cooldowns is exciting. Having random buffs with a lot of stuff is exciting. Pressing all of the buttons, this is my favorite thing to do in this game. And so there's all these exciting things, and then the last one is a little mundane. Like he's not even doing it while doing the rest of his job like Henri does, because Henri will cover for somebody, take the hit, reduce the hit's damage if it was going to be too big, and then swing back. And it's like that's a cool set of interactions. This one is just I did more skill damage.
Have you ever thought that he's just a really angry boy?
I think this all the time.
Yeah, so he's just hitting you back. He's just an angry boy.
hmm
It falls in line with his character. Also, he gets 50k supplemental damage from
Yeah,
his EMP skill.
his 150 EMP. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That one's really really good.
So yeah, he's doing a lot.
hmm Ready to move on?
Oh, okay, this one I get to talk about the EMP skill for this later. Hold on, let's talk about fifth.
All right. So Thief had one of the best 110s, which was
Delay
Delay
on
on CA.
CA.
Very reliable, extremely important for hard content, which is where you're using her anyway, because she's one of the most reliable healers in the game,
Yeah, with
and
short
also
cooldowns on her
debuffers and
heals and all that.
just like turns of debuff immunity and getting rid of them. So, 110 was good. 120 and 130 we got a little confused by. So
120 I'm still confused on.
yeah, 120 is reduce turn-based damage you take by 20%, which is like screw you Fedial. Okay,
I mean
sure.
it also kind of also applies to being what's that one debuff from Iblis?
Slashed.
Yeah, that's a lot of damage that you
That's
normally
true.
take.
Yeah, that's fair. And so, it affected something that nothing else in the game really affected, other than like Danua and Granblue passive or like Death's Grace. So it interacted in a different way. So it was new.
Unfortunately, her 120 EMP was kind of bad.
Uh, 120 EMP.
Debuff resist.
Yeah. 130. All right, moving on to 130 though. 130, she got um dispel
Dispel cancel.
cancel on
That's
2.
fine.
That's fine.
It's a very short cooldown too, and it's
hmm
an indefinite dispel cancel,
hmm
so you just use it whenever.
Right. The EMP at
Sure.
130.
Her EMP at 130 was questionable until the 150, by the way.
So, boost to zombie and curse resistance.
I don't know what the number on resistance is, by the way.
It is it 100%? I don't know.
Can you check game with?
I could try, but I don't know if anybody's tested this.
I mean, it's been out for months. It's not on the
I
wiki. That's
stand
why I
by
asked.
my I stand by my statement. Let's take a look. They don't know. They
All
don't
right,
know.
so the thing is that at 150, because we're just gonna skip 140 because it doesn't matter. At 150, when a light ally is below 25% HP, she'll cast her heal. Her heal's it's pretty good, by the way.
So it's
I'm pretty
4K
sure
4K base, then a revitalize for 500 a turn for 3 turns after that. So 5500 base, and she has 4 healing nodes, which will increase that by 20% each. So that's
80%.
plus 80%. So that's nearly 10k.
Yeah,
So this was actually
but
one of the good features of Doctor when Doctor just came out. It was passive healing when somebody's red.
correct. But so the main thing is that the EMP skill at 130 matters now because if they're zombied and
That
you
would kill
cast that
them.
heal, it will probably kill them.
Yes.
Cursed is there, I think, only because dark enemies are the ones that commonly use cursed.
hmm
Unlike, what's the other one that makes it so you don't heal?
Strong arm.
Yeah, strong arm's usually earth, isn't it?
A lot of the cases. Although very specifically, Anima does strong armed and not zombie or curse.
Okay, well, blessing of light will cover that case too, at least.
I use that button very frequently. Well, I use that button every 7 turns. Sorry, in Anima, in the Anima raid.
Wait, 7 turn? Oh yeah, because it's increased the cooldown. Yeah,
Increase cooldowns in Anima. That's why I had to correct myself mid-sentence. All right. So as a total package, what do you think now?
she makes me die less.
Yeah,
If I'm in danger of dying, I stop dying.
yeah, yeah. That's the thief special. You pull her out for content that you are afraid of dying in, and you are suddenly much less afraid of dying.
Yeah, it's really. I actually really like this. I really
Okay.
like this a lot for as a package whole of this character is doing her task. She's
hmm
doing it well.
All right. On to the number 6. So number 6 was already the best of them, basically
He was
at
already
5 stars. So, um, most of what his Transcendence did was accelerate him. So 110, he gets 2 Heavenly Howl, which goes
on CA.
on CA. Um, and then his 130 was he just starts with 3 more for his EMP there. I'm putting a few things ahead of that I understand, but like he now starts battle with basically 5 Heavenly Howls.
You can only hold 6.
Yeah.
But yeah, he all the change was ramping, pretty
mhm.
much.
He ramps up way faster and that's important because now you can save his Thunder Flash, and you get double strike for a turn if he's at 6 Heavenly Howls, which happens
That's
pretty
sick.
quickly now.
That's
Like he
really
starts with
sick.
he starts with 3. He presses a button um, to wait. He doesn't get Heavenly Howl from skill 1, does he? I forget now.
No, that's
No,
old design.
old design. That's right. You had to keep pressing it. So he starts with 3. He CAs and goes to 5. So basically, you need 1 turn and some meter. So for
That's
example,
pretty easy.
if you fill up his meter with a Relic Buster, which I do sometimes, um, then this is Thunder Flash is ready to go on turn 2 because you start at 3, you CA, and because he has other self, um, like he has
You won't
dodge
lose
all
it.
here, then he won't lose it, and he'll gain up to 6, and so you have double strike ready on turn 3 on turn 2. Um, is it exciting? Maybe. Is it powerful? Hell yeah, it is.
I'd say double strike is exciting. I
Yeah,
play
that's
fire.
true. I love this guy. This is my boy. Anyway, so after that, we're skipping 140, of course. 150. So, I'm sorry, I'm laughing at this a little bit, but he gets supplemental skill damage as his EMP there, which
It's the
matters.
K just like your.
Yeah, just like how Counterclaw works. Like Counterclaw, if you've played enough 6, you just laugh because so many bosses in the game will do something when you enter the thing, and you will already have honors because 6 got angry that they dared to take an action, and they swings back. And it does a significant amount of damage. And, if you add Agonize, the new weapon there, then it does a really big amount of damage. And
And
then
that
at
is the
150,
MP skill.
if he dodges, he does another 6 hits. So let's just say that he's CA'd and he's Thunder Flashed, right? He dodges everything. He taunts everything to himself. All the attacks goes his way. Uh, in a fight like say Beelzebub, where I bring him a lot when I'm playing in groups, then he will dodge every single one. He'll counter 6 times, and then now that he's dodged with his new EMP, he will swing 6. He will do a 6-hit nuke.
And another 6-hit nuke.
And if it was a special action, it'll be another 6-hit nuke. So if he dodges and it's a special, yeah. So he just
Look, he don't hit him.
don't swing at
Obviously.
him unless you just want 18 hits of just very angry dog coming at you.
I just like how the fact that he get another stack of Heavenly Howl. I'm like, you're more likely at 6 already. Still,
Oh yeah, he gets another Heavenly Howl on dodge as well. Yeah.
I guess this kind of counteracts certain situations where he dodges only one of something hits.
Or he runs out of dodge charges because counter on dodge is it's 6 times when he's like at this point. So if it attacks more than that number of times, then they can get through. That's why I only use Thunder Flash in say Beelzebub and Belial when he is also seeing the same turn.
Yeah,
Then he'll dodge every single one of them, but only counter 6 times.
but I still just love the fact that he gets a stack back
Yeah,
just in case.
yeah. This is just
Just in
really
case.
funny. This is really funny. This is
So
a
yeah,
candidate.
he ramps
Hmm.
fast.
He does ramps faster, does a lot of damage still. All right, you ready to move on to 7?
Oh, the king of V2.
The king of V2. So some people complained because he was too V2 focused. Well,
Guess what,
he's
boys?
more.
He is still V2 focused.
All right, so 110 is the big one. Like he was a character that I actually brought to 110 and left there. Because I don't bring him to hard content. I don't bring wind to hard content a lot. I like playing water and dark in those. But if you're like those people who do bring wind to hard content, well, boy, do we have a character for you. So the part,
Slap this bad boy.
yeah, this boy can fit so many omen breaks in him.
All right, so
Um,
first off, let's start one by one. So 110, he gives 15% damage cat to the team on CA.
Useful everywhere, literally
Yeah,
everywhere. Very good. 120. Um,
this
Infinito
one's
Criari was it
yeah
or
no Myriade the Illusione. This is
Oh,
support
okay.
skill.
It's a new support
Everyone 20 is
skill.
a support skill.
That's right. So Fatal Chain, uh, the Fatal Chain itself, instead of doing 1.5 million damage, does 3 million damage,
That's useful.
and the effect duration is 3 turns,
That's
which
less useful.
It matters if you are using it with a Cora de Leone and 7 stars Brilliance turn, like we were talking about last time we talked about this.
True.
Um, After that, then the 130 was Infinito Criare, adds 30% Fated Chain, and the damage goes up by a lot. The damage more
Went
than
up from
triples.
70k to 250k per hit.
Yeah. So Infinito Criare actually what did big dumb damage. Big dumb damage.
It hits 10 times despite its name being 7.
Don't worry about it. And then yeah, he becomes the king of V2 because like Emblema gives you a minimum 10% Fatal Chain bar. Now Infinito Criare gives you at minimum 30% of that bar. Cora de Leone, the only way that it doesn't give you 50 bar or more is if you've packed Astariola or Vigrim or somebody, or like Kokoro. That's your own design issue.
Also, if the person just can't get meter.
Yeah, okay. But like this guy is giving you all of the Fatal Chain meter in the world.
Yeah.
So then we get to 150. Myriade di Illusioni.
Now, we still could talk about his 130 EMP. It's actually kind of nice.
Yeah, that's true. So a chance to eat a Sword Shine level to get rid of debuffs.
Yeah, so when activating, prevents debuffs from applying and shows resist similar to Veil.
Yeah.
When an enemy tries to debuff him.
So it's like eating the chicken buff, but instead of taking all of them, it's one of them. He just decides.
Which you have so much of.
And given that he gets unchallenged from his CA as well, like if any boss does a single hit or a single debuff, he's like nah. Or any number of debuffs in a single turn. Honestly, he'll just go nah.
Yeah, it's really good.
All right. And then the 150. So the EMP itself is supplemental charge attack damage up to 150k to himself. Or does that apply to whole team?
Actually, only to himself.
Okay. And then after that, when he Fatal Chains, any Omen that can be cancelled gets cancelled.
That's so good. In case you Fatal Chain is now your panic button if you know you can actually supplement it back up, which you can because it's Seophon. He's gonna build a meter for the entire team to CA again to build up the Fatal Chains.
Yeah, and I mean if you don't use Seophon in V2 or you don't like V2, I mean, okay, leave him at 110.
Yeah. That's about it.
The 150 is great for people who actually want to beat the crap out of Beelzebub and Belial and...
To be fair, Beelzebub past 50%, they're all Fatal Chain.
They're all Fatal Chains anyway. But yeah, he was already just amazing as of his 130 then at beating the crap out of Fatal Chains from Beelzebub. What a guy. Alright, 8 was the one that we were kind of disappointed with as part of the whole package. But we also kind of thought that the only thing that was holding him back was the server architecture as well. Because the only thing that keeps... One of the big things that keeps 8 from being, like, a do-everything, now that he has a slow, is the fact that chain bursts make you take longer to take actions. So a lot of people who play Earth want to either do big skill damage... So there's two extremes that people think of with Earth right now, which is... If you're a Threo player and you're doing luchador things, and so you're just like swinging away as fast as you can, or if you are a Robin Hood and doing skill damage things, and it's all packed into a single turn and like 800 button presses, right? Those are sort of the two ways that you're going to be like thinking about this. And he exists sort of in the middle, where it's big single hits, but then you... are locked out of your next turn. And it's just like, some people just don't like that. It's something that when you're racing or doing things like that, then it's not as favorable. And if you're playing in V2, then you're playing toward the skill damage end of the spectrum because you're wanting to make each turn like count way more.
LTCs, yeah.
hmm Um, and so he was sort of existing in a spot that wasn't great for that kind of meta. Like the character himself is great, and um, so let's see here. Uh, his CA update was that he gave 20% water cut along with the rest of the stuff.
Which is still questionable.
Yeah, it's like, all right. I mean, if you're gonna CA anyway, so I guess sure, that's fine.
It's just there.
It's just there. His 120 was it did a boost to chain burst damage cap, and so it was a little bit of free damage.
You
Uh,
you will hit the chamber's damage cap, so
mhm.
it's nice, I guess.
The big thing was for him specifically, like Seifon also had this, but 8 would break the special charge attack damage cap, so he would do like he would hit the hard cap and just cap out at like 6 million damage for his CAs. And that wouldn't benefit from things like supplemental damage the way that skill damage does, the way that like attacks with Chaser do. So they just said, all right, another 10% on top of that. You do 6.6 million. You're like, okay, that's 600k per CA, which is not insignificant. But yeah. All right, 130. This one was the big dumb one. We didn't know if it was 100%. It turned out to be 100%. So every time he can basically slow every like 2 turns. Every 2 to 3 turns with this. So lowering his cooldowns when he CAs, really good. His skills are sort of like they gave his third one a really good effect. The first one is very selfish. So, you know, you have to keep that in
What are you
mind.
talking about
The what you actually get from lowering his skill cooldowns. Like the reason they can do this with such short cooldowns in the first place is because he has only one really useful skill.
Yeah, true.
So that was
Yeah,
mhm.
but the only skill on the skill side, the only one that got changed was a skill 1, which increases special CA damage cap again.
Mhm. And so, you know, he squeezes a little extra damage out of CAs.
But his EMP was way cooler.
hmm And then 150. So now every time you chain burst at all, then you get debuff resist of I believe 100% and a spell cancel for the rest of that turn once
Yeah,
you chain burst.
so it's not really useful per se in V2 really. Because
It's a
anytime that
mhm,
something would actually cause you that you would need these is usually from a boss's omen.
mhm. It's mildly useful to prevent, say, Belial from silencing your characters because skill seal on an Earth player in that one, you're just like, why? Please, I just want to hit more nukes so that I can throw thunderbolts.
He does that on autos though, right?
He does that on autos,
Yeah, so
and so
that's the part where the case where it'd be good, but not
mhm,
technically for like Beelzebub.
right. I mean, it can be useful for Beelzebub, but in a lot of those cases, yeah, you're
Defending,
you're either defending or yeah,
breaking the omen.
or
Those are the
breaking
only
the
two
open,
situations.
or slowing. But yeah, so it's one of those ones that is hard to take full advantage of in the hardest raids right now. But I'm sure there's uses. It's a little
Ultimate
harder to
Baja.
yeah. Ultimate Baja dispels like on a whim, so it's great in Ultimate Baja. So if there's any design that looks like it's going to be Ultimate Baja, then go for it. Another problem is a lot of these characters that you bring to hard content now are they have unremovable buffs in the first place, like Golden Knight. Or I mean, I still see people bring Malu to certain pieces of content because she also is just like she is impossible to mess with. She will always do her thing.
G super defense,
hmm
super living.
Yeah, chain burst cap buffs are low key super strong for burst content. It's true. All right. Uh, yeah, that's where we stand on 8 at least. Like it doesn't change where he stands, and I think it's just the design of the game right now that doesn't favor him, as opposed to the character being bad.
Yeah.
Number 9. Here's the new one. So, this character had been pushed out by better buffers and better debuffers over time.
And also having actual usable buttons, unlike Comatose.
Right, because Comatose is either we talk about this a lot. It's either amazing or it's useless, and there is no in between. And because of how amazing it is when it lands, the harder the content is, the more the designers go, yeah, this doesn't work.
Hi, Ultimate Bahamut, where you're Comatose and still did your trigger.
Mm-hmm. All right, so what did she get on her new CA at 110?
All right, so they added DA and 100% DA down and 20% TA down on all foes.
Okay, so they gave her the Fief CA, part of it, to lower incoming damage with multi attack down. The
Yeah, that's
longer
always
this
nice.
game goes, the more that we appreciate that debuff. Okay, keep going.
That's our 110.
Oh,
That's yeah. Everyone's 110 is like that, Dom.
some of them are exciting. Keep going.
They're all
120.
they're all in CA.
Yeah.
Okay, so 120 support skill. 10% perpetuity mod, 30% defense, 20% DA up, 10% TA up for all wind allies.
Just passively.
Passively.
Okay. All right. I'm listening.
Yeah, it's pretty good, isn't it? That's pretty good numbers on the passive for just existing.
Yeah. Unfortunately, her 120 EMP is debuff success again, and it's just like,
Don't worry, it comes back later.
okay. I was like, wait. We already talked about how her debuffs had to be like redesigned. So all right.
Also, don't forget, tuning still existed.
Yeah, but it's a dot, and it's a dot that when it's applied, your team takes less damage. Admittedly.
Yes, that's the most important part of this kit.
Yeah, 20% reduce.
Yeah,
It's
that's
very
really
subtle,
good.
but it's good. All right, next up.
All right, 130. We'll start with her skill, Defendu. Defendu now gives 100% chance for 30% crit.
Before it was 30-30, and people were just like, hmm.
3,000 shield instead of 2,000 shield.
That's
And the
fine.
most important part, keen and 10% damage amplified for one foe attacks.
That's really good.
That's really good,
That's
especially since you
really
just
good.
guaranteed their crits.
Mm-hmm. All right, all right. And then her
EMP
130
skill,
EMP.
uh, her skill 1 that I was calling useless now gives a local 25% attack and defense down.
So the problem I have with this is that it is not a stackable one, which means that a lot of the hard content will also still ignore it.
While true, it still makes it a button
It's still a
in certain
button
things.
outside of making something fall asleep.
It's okay. Defendu's got your back on if you want hard content.
All right, let's keep going.
140, nothing. Anyways,
Every time we
150
get
though.
there, every time we get to that
We
140, we
have to
just
keep
sort of
doing it.
we have to keep doing it just to remind ourselves and just like say, yeah, this is just the least exciting like part of the grind. All right, keep going.
Well, 150 though. Melody for another changes to also all wind allies get a boosted damage cap, and their buffs can't be removed.
How big is the damage cap boost?
They don't tell me.
Okay. Let me see if the JP Game
But
with has it.
buffs not being removed though.
Yeah, buffs being unremovable for wind allies is yeah. Wow.
Hey, there's a sleeping potato that loves giving buffs every turn when he's brought to the front.
That's true. Or
Yeah,
even if he's in back, he just gives them when you chain burst, which
yeah, it's pretty nice.
yeah. Well,
Also, you still have your skill too.
yeah, the people who who love Neon, and there's a lot of them out there, they have a reason to celebrate. The character's very good. Um,
You have like 65% DA up with skill 2 and her passive. All
well,
right.
it's not even the DA up. Like the DA up is one of those things that's been devalued over time, but like 10% amp, um, and unremovable like permanent dispel cancel.
Yeah. Also the fact that, 30% defense on top of everything.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah, the people who love Neon will now celebrate because she's
People
back.
who love Neon still love Neon, is what
Yeah,
you're telling me.
yeah.
Yeah, this is actually one of the ones I actually considered under the. Yeah, her 150 is really good. You should get this.
Hmm. Like that's one of the best 150s so far. All right, I'll also have you cover Tien because you've been looking this one up.
All right, this is sick. Anyways, so after uncap, intense bullets goes off cooldown.
So at 110 and only at 110, by the way, this is probably the suckiest CA upgrade.
However, we're not looking at this in that Spectre because she's the last character to come out.
Right. So,
All right, so 120.
hmm
Okay, this one's useless, kind of, but it's a meme. Let's go, Damascus knife.
yeah, so she goes to bounty 10. Let's go.
It's a meme. This
Uh,
meme will become something later, actually,
however,
though.
although although the other big part of her getting her to 120 is the EMP she gets, which is
10% skill cap.
10% skill cap. And Stardust was already a good button. It's just getting
Oh,
better.
yeah. So, at 130, though, Intense Bullet changes to being a 10-hit nuke instead, doing 665k each. And also inflicts a random debuff.
What
These
debuffs
debuffs
are
are
they?
local, and it's a local attack, stacking attack down, stacking defense down, debuff resist down, or special attack damage lowered.
So the
Uh,
first three
the,
were the Zoe ones, like attack down, defense down, debuff, resist down, and then stackable special attack damage lowered. Oh, okay.
yeah, it's pretty cool. It's local, so you don't have to worry about yourself.
Hmm.
And also, they're permanent.
Yeah, and then the EMP is what fixes her problem that we had with a lot of people would complain at how she would hit Final Order, and it's like, haha, she has Onslaught and Assassin, and then in full auto she would hit this button as her Assassin button. You're like, oh, what a big intense bullet. So her EMP just says, yeah, this doesn't get eaten anymore.
I notice how it says all allies.
I
Because
guess
all
Hellas.
allies. No, remember skill 4.
Oh right.
It gives everybody salted wound.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot that it works with this one. Okay, that's important. So you can hit this
Yeah,
button and then hit nukes or hit the sun, and it won't break. Actually,
correct.
it was the saddest thing in the world, by the way, to hit this button and go, I forgot to summon the sun. No.
And then your MC gets sad attack that turn
Hmm.
compared to everybody else.
Well, your MC still double strikes, but you're just like, this could have been so much better.
Yeah, it's still sad though because it's not assassin on that first hit.
Hmm. Um, and then the let's see here. So that was both halves of the 130 that we covered, yeah?
That 130 is sick.
Okay. That 130 is pretty sick. 150.
Well, okay, so 140 nothing happens. 150 supplemental damage for Tien when the bounty level is 10 or above. I don't know when it'll be above, but
And
level 10.
given that she has two buttons that do 10 hits, that's an extra million damage for each of these things. Before you factor in
Correct.
all of the things like supplemental and keen and whatever.
And she will get to skill bounty 10 because of the fact that her CA gets rid of the cooldown on intense bullets.
Right. So intense bullet, this cooldown now lies to you, especially since she triple attacks twice guaranteed.
From her
So
skill 2, yeah.
so by the time turn 3 comes around, then she'll cast it again. So you'll have CA like bounty 10 by around turn 6, I think. No, you'll have it
Somewhere,
around turn 8. Turn 8.
somewhere around there. Anyways,
Yeah.
long fights. Long fights.
Hmm.
I love this.
Okay. And then her EMP.
What? Hey, her brother has this too. 50k supplemental skill damage.
Yeah, so remember when I said 100k supplemental? Yeah, it's actually 150k. So it's 1.5 million for every time she presses Stardust or Intense Bullet.
And that's not without the base damage by itself. Oh, so
That's a
good.
that's a
I can't wait to get to 130.
that's a big glow up. I should probably work on her fourth. I'm not sure. I'm not sure when I'm doing this one.
But yeah, but once again, this the entire thing I said about 150s is that some of them just feel like it's just a win more button.
Hmm.
Like the ones I considered like the big winners is for hard content, even at the very least, 2 and
7.
9 and 7.
I'm trying to think. Yeah, those I would agree with that. 2, 9, and
Anything
7.
else going past 130 is like, yeah, you just want to win more.
It's so much damage on 10 to get that much stuff.
Look, man, she needs it.
I mean, yeah, it's quite the glow up. I'm good with it. Phew. All right. Now we're done. We've done it. We've covered all 10 of them. We've covered their transcendence. We've covered their everything. Whew.
I like that her transcendence material is literally the
The
breaker
hoodie.
jacket you have.
I just got that thing cleaned too. I'm very happy with it. I'm starting to wear it again because I'm going to San Francisco again, and
Oh yeah, it's windy.
it's always the same weather in San Francisco. All right, so overall, like let's pull back a little bit.
All right.
The amount of investment that you're putting into here to get this far, because remember that there's a hidden cost to getting 140 in that you have to have 5-star bingo. And we talked about that previously. So in order to get this far, so here's my Onray at 110. In order to get to this 4th slot right here, if I didn't already have 5-star bingo, then the hidden cost is 18 more gold bricks. Or if you just got regular bingo, then it's 9 more gold bricks, or however many that you haven't 5-starred yet, and then the costs of 140.
It's a very steep cost.
It is a very steep cost. However, and then this is one of those things that people were thinking about, where it's like, however, 130 seems to be like perfectly fine for you to stay at for a while you get the other stuff. Like 140 is so unimpressive.
What do you mean? There's nothing.
It's 5% cap up, which is, it's not nothing, but it's you're doing all of that for 5% cap up. And so it's mostly to be a stepping stone to 150. So essentially as far as I can tell, the intent of this is to get you to go back, get your 5 stars, meet the Eternals a bit more, get through their episodes, and then come back and then go, all right, I'm ready to 140 you, and then I have this paper, which we can get every, 2 months, and I'm going to be giving it to you. And we're going to get to the 150.
Yeah. But yeah, like we said, 130 is like a good stopping point for most of these. Granted, they also require paper to get to there.
Yeah. But, it feels... So we're going to go back to an interview with Fukuhara where he said sort of the design intent for the Transcendent Eternals was to restore their place as the strongest crew in the skies, to make them feel like the signature characters of Granblue Fantasy again. And
they have a poster.
Yeah, one of the complaints that was put forward is that all of this work, and then this actually comes back, and I don't necessarily agree with this, but it is an argument to be presented. It's like, think about all of the things that we've said, right? About how these characters operate in hard content and stuff like that. And now compare it to Summer Shalem, right? And it's not comparing apples to oranges. It's comparing a character that you worked hard on to bring to hard content, and a character that you just rolled. Like I just rolled this character 4 days ago or so, 5 days. It wasn't too long ago.
I feel like she should have had a bigger detriment to her HP. Really,
bigger detriment to her HP and bigger detriment to karma. Like if this thing was actually 7 turns long or something like that, that would actually be a crazy long time to be locked out of your summons.
yeah,
That hurts. Like when you go summonless in Beelzebub from eating a karma, that actually hurts a lot when you go summonless there, because it was forced on you and you couldn't, you got one summon beforehand. This one, you plan in advance and you get your skill summons back because, the whole point of your summons being available is that they're emergency spells that your MC can cast, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then this one, yeah, you're just like, why do we need emergency buttons? We just have our buttons. But yeah, like there is a legitimate argument that it doesn't feel like all of this investment is worth it when all of these summer characters uh offer not necessarily I'm not going to claim that they're all the same power, but there is a power there that is easier to access for way less effort.
Yeah, I can see that.
I'm not convinced either way yet, but then again, I can call myself this very often. I'm a well-boiled frog, and I had a bunch of this stuff just sitting around already by the time that this Transcendence came around, so I just needed to join a bunch of dragons. I need to actually host my... How many do I have? Hold on. I said 42 at the beginning of this podcast. Let me make absolutely sure by trading for it. Rise of the Beasts. I have 42 more hosts of Huanglong and Keelan.
Good job, Past Dom.
Good job, past me. And, based on these reams here, I can trade for another large amount of Huanglong anima.
So Dom,
Yeah.
I'm gonna pose this question now. Now that we're done with the Eternals
Mm-hmm.
for the time being.
Are you going to ask where we're going next?
Yeah.
We are going to... so we know that we're going to the Evokers next.
The
Because
world now has come.
we know that their roadmap for the end of the year includes expansions to Sandbox, and very importantly, the next phase of the New World Foundation weapons. So, once these New World Foundation weapons have their next step, that is tied to the next step of an Evoker. And the thing is that they already gave us a progression step for Evokers, and they have the numbers. They know that people will have like anywhere between 0 to about 3 of these reasonably, unless they are spending every waking minute inside of Replicard Sandbox. Like, as of today, I now have 2 domains. And do you guys know how hard I grind at this game?
Yeah, I finished one. I'm actually 2/3 done with the knife.
I am 112 Sun IDNs away from this one, and I am how many away? I have Justice IDNs listed here. I am 107 Justice IDNs, and I think I'm working on Justice next because I just like that more than the Star.
Fair.
But we'll see if it's actually Evoker 5 stars. We'll see if it's just the 4-star weapons and they think that's sufficient. We'll see how much they expand like Sandbox. But yeah, like I hope that the next phase of Sandbox has a reward level that lowers the amount of time required to acquire these domains, because getting this many IDNs has been an absolute struggle. It's like after I grinded for Frow's Indominus stuff, which, everybody went for first, basically. That was the most acquired domain on the summer stream.
We'll talk about that next week.
Okay, we'll talk about that one next week. But, like, when that happened, I was just like, I looked at my roadmap and I went, given how long it took me to farm this, I'm not doing this for the next one. I'm just gonna let it happen. And it took like 4 months to get to the next one by letting it happen and only semi-farming Replicard Sandbox and taking a break from it.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's my hope for the next 4 paths of the next areas of Replicard Sandbox that open, is that they lower they lower the gates a little bit. They just open the door a little bit wider and say, hey, we know the IDNs are a huge bottleneck, and we know that in order to keep you playing this content, we're going to basically guaranteed, like I'm predicting this at least, that the new Replicard will have something similar to Luster's, but they're required for the next step of all of these New World Foundations.
We'll see when that time passes.
Yeah, but that's where I'm calling that they go next. There's so many Justice IDNs to go. Anyway, so
Yeah, so going back to the previous topic then, about time investments into a character versus rolling a gacha character.
What are you thinking about it?
I really think that they went too well. Like they made Shalem too good.
Is it just Shalem, or do you think that this is more than Shalem even for other elements?
It's for other elements too. Like I use them, but I still complain about Sandalphon's existence.
Grand Sandalphon? Okay.
Yeah.
I do not disagree. I think Grand Sandalphon at the very least, has interesting play patterns based around his drawback. I think Shalem's drawback isn't big enough. And
I don't think she has a drawback.
Yeah, that's also a thing. And then I think the other ones they at least have like interesting drawbacks. Like Nehan, for example, has an interesting drawback because if after he's done like doping up your characters, you're just like, oh,
I'm about to die.
If I get breathed on, I will die. I hope I killed the boss in this amount of time. Like there are significant drawbacks to a lot of the power characters, and meanwhile, like the Eternals have no drawbacks really. But
you also spent so much time getting them.
And so yeah, I think that's where I stand on that one. Like they've really pushed the power level of the game this year. I think Belial was a good answer to that by making us think differently. I think even like Anima had us think differently. But it really puts pressure on Bahamut and then the other stuff in order to challenge people at the top.
Yeah, because like I said, I don't think there's. You have to now balance against the new norm, like how like they balance against paralyzing everything by just making so that paralyze doesn't work.
They balanced against.
They act through paralyze.
They balanced against Keelan. And they balanced against slow spam. It's one form of slow spam in V2. So you didn't just keep acrobatic volleying with a Robin Hood. But yeah. All right. That should be it for this week.
Yeah, well, let's simmer through.
But I've taken 2 hours of your time for this episode.
Yeah, I'm hungry.
All right, go eat. Thanks for joining me. Next week we get to do the fun stuff, but also next week we will know what the next story event is, and we will also talk about a couple of topics that we left on the floor, which is
my favorite topic. Yeah,
slides from the summer stream, the existence of Angel Halo Pro now that it's out, although we only need like a couple sentences on that, and yeah, we'll know what the next month looks like a little bit. So see you then. Thanks for joining us, everyone.
Later.
All right.
It's been 2 hours.
Go eat, drink something. I should get some water.
I should also